Jai Shri Ram. Reading comprehension. Remember, reading comprehension is the toughest thing in the GRE. So let's do this one. This is again an ETS constructed reading comprehension from the big book long ago. They published it. So, as usual, the rules for reading comprehension: always read the question first. There are certain advantages. So I'll read the question first. It can be inferred from the passage that which of the following is true of appendicularians. Inferred. Now whenever there is an inference question, remember the answer usually will be a paraphrasing of a sentence that is already there in the passage. Paraphrase means to restate the same thing in different words. Sometimes a synonym will be used for a word there. For example, if the word universal is used in the passage, worldly or cosmopolitan or worldwide, so that will be found in the answer. If the word subtle is used there somewhere in the text, in the passage, fine, nuanced could be the word used in the answer. So this is how it is. So inference questions actually mean something that is not directly stated there, implied. So these are slightly tougher. It will force you to think. Now again, some rules for reading comprehension is always read the first sentence 2 times and talk to yourself, sub-vocalize as you read, so that you get to know exactly what's being talked about. You get a purchase on the whole topic. Remember, every paragraph follows a sort of pattern which can be called PREP pattern: point, reason, examples, and the point restated, or some conclusion. It can be PREC, conclusion. So the opening sentence and the last sentence of the paragraph, if every paragraph is very important. Let's say it's a passage that runs into 3 paragraphs. So the last sentence of the last paragraph is very important. So let's say zooplankton, tiny animals adapted to an existence in the ocean, have evolved clever mechanisms for obtaining their food. Minuscule phytoplankton, which is plant plankton. Remember, adjectives are very important. These are tiny animals, clever mechanisms, and minuscule phytoplankton, and information in brackets is very important. So he's telling you information in brackets is important because for a question you might find that something looks like an answer, but the information in the bracket can either confirm it or negate it. Plant plankton. Okay, again I'm reading it. Zooplankton, tiny animals adapted to an existence in the ocean, have evolved clever mechanisms for obtaining the food. Minuscule phytoplankton. They have clever mechanisms. Okay. Now let us see how many of these mechanisms is he going to talk about. A very specialized feeding adaptation in zooplankton is so he's telling us about one particular specialized feeding adaptation. Is that of the tadpole-like appendicularian? Is that of the tadpole-like appendicularian? So there is an appendicularian which has the shape of a tadpole, and this chap has a very specialized adaptation, and the author is going to tell us about that. Who lives in a walnut size or smaller balloon of mucus equipped with filters that capture and concentrate phytoplankton. Okay. You should visualize as you read the balloon, a transparent structure. Okay, that's the adjective. Every adjective is important. So it's a balloon which is transparent, that varies in design according to the type of the appendicularian inhabiting it. Okay. Also protects the animal and helps to keep it afloat. Okay, there are 2 other functions. Water containing phytoplankton is pumped by the appendicularian's muscular tail into the balloon's incurrent filters, passes through the feeding filter where the appendicularian sucks the food into its mouth, and then this water goes through an exit passage. So it's something like a filter and food gets trapped. Found in all the oceans of the world, including the Arctic Ocean, appendicularians tend to remain near the water's surface, okay, where the density of phytoplankton is greatest. Remember, in the GRE test, for each question you will get 1.5 minutes. For example, in verbal, the first 12 questions you get 18 minutes. And the next section, which contains 15 questions, you get 23 minutes. Actually, if you are a smart test taker, you would have a good vocabulary, and then you will knock off the sentence equivalence at least very fast. So you will save some time there, so that perhaps you will have 2 minutes per question for the RC. If your vocabulary is poor, then you will waste time even on those text completion and sentence completion, and the pressure on RC will increase. So RC is going to be tougher. It will demand a lot of concentration, which is possible only if you are able to do the other questions fast. So please keep listening to don't buy books, don't do anything. I've been training GRE verbal students for the last 23 years now. Since 2000 I'm doing it. And I consider myself a pretty good trainer. I have every book that's printed, published in the market. I keep buying it. And remember, 80-20 rule applies everywhere. 20% of the books contain only 20% is new. All the 80% is old stuff. So don't waste your money buying anything. Just watch my videos and perhaps attend a few classes of mine. Okay. Now, what is the answer to the first question? It can be inferred from the passage that which of the following is true of appendicularians. Pause. Please pause the video. Pause the video and work. Okay, so that was a tricky question. The answer is C for Charlie. They can tolerate frigid water, means cold water, very cold, freezing. Why? Because they are found in the Arctic Ocean and that too near the surface. Now, are they carnivorous? No, because it is plants that they are eating. They have more than one method of obtaining food. One method of obtaining, that is the trap. What is true of appendicularians? If you notice, in the whole passage, we are being told about a specialized feeding adaptation. So, appendicularian is one of the animals among zooplankton. So, appendicularians seem to be having a specialized feeding adaptation. Now, zooplankton could be having, because the first sentence says, zooplankton, tiny animals, blah, 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 have clever mechanisms. So, if the question had been on zooplankton, B could have been the answer. But the question is not on zooplankton, the question is on appendicularian, and the appendicularian's specialized feeding adaptation is being discussed here. So, only that much is said. We have no idea whether appendicularians have more than one method. No such information is available. So that's a trap. They can disguise themselves is another trap. If you notice, the balloon is transparent. Line number, where is it? Line number 14. The balloon. Where is the balloon? Water. Balloon of mucus which filters. Line number 6, 7. The balloon 7, 8. Transparent structure. So a transparent structure cannot be a good disguise. In fact, it can't be a disguise. They are more sensitive to light is wrong, because if they are sensitive to light, they won't be near the surface. Next question. The other's primary concern. What is the other is primarily concerned with what? Your answer. Pause again, please. The answer has to be A for alpha. D for delta is a trap. And rest of them are total rubbish. Next, 19. This is an easy question. According to the passage, all of the following are descriptive of appendicularians except. This is an easy question actually. Pause and answer please. The answer has to be single-celled, because tail, vegetarian, small size, ocean dwelling, all are mentioned. So the answer is D, delta, single-celled. Last question. The passage suggests that appendicularians tend to remain in surface waters. Why? So where is the mention of surface water? So the mention of surface water is there in the last sentence. If you read the last sentence where surface waters are mentioned, your answer is very easy to spot. Pause and work please. So the answer has to be E for elephant. Eat food that grows more profusely near the surface. That's it. Jai Shri Ram. Keep working.